Counting the.
Cost of teaching in Korea.
Okay, so you were teaching in Korea for how many years?
I was here for 9 years.
Wow,
This is my 10th year.
you taught in Korea for 9 years,
Yeah.
and then you left, and then you are coming back, and you're here. You're going through quarantine, and I'm pretty sure there are many teachers that are wanting to come here, and they don't know what it's like to teach in Korea. So, how many different levels of students did you teach in Korea?
So I've taught all of the levels. I've taught in a kindergarten, I've taught in an elementary school, I taught middle school students, but in Hogwons rather than in the school system. I've taught in a Korean language high school, Gyeonggi-Waegor, which is one of the top language high schools here in Korea. I've taught at university. I've done the evening classes for the community. So I've had everybody up to 80-year-old people practicing their English.
Wow.
So basically, I've gone from 3-year-olds here to 85-year-olds.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Did you plan that out or did it just happen?
No, it just happened. Before I came to Korea, I prayed, I was like, God, give me a wide teaching experience. And hey, very wide. I've done it all. I'm at a university now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are the pros and cons of those experiences and why would you like to stay as a professor?
Why do I like to stay as a professor? The professor lifestyle is quite lovely. It is, to be honest, it is the easiest of all the language teaching jobs here in Korea. My schedule, for example, I am scheduled for 15 teaching hours. Now, a teaching hour is not a 60-minute hour. A teaching hour is a 50-minute hour because they count your 10-minute break. They get a 10-minute break every hour. And that 10-minute break counts as part of your teaching hour. So as well as that 15-hour teaching hour schedule, I have to put in 4 hours of office time, which is when students can come and chat to me. And I mean, it's not like it's difficult. You don't prepare for it. Students just show up, they chat whatever their concerns are. You give them suggestions to help them get their grades up. You do your lesson prep, but that's standard across all the different teaching jobs. You do your grading, again, that's a standard across all the different teaching jobs. And for about 1 week each semester, you have a crazy week where you're entering all your grades into the computer system. And that's it. And then you get vacation time. And in the university, they treat you like a professional. So they don't say you must be in your office at 9 a.m. and you may not leave till 5. Right, as long as you've taught your classes, all your paperwork is up to date, you're keeping that professional standard, we trust you to do your job. If you don't do your job, you're out. I like that. So from that point of view, the university is best. Also, the students are generally a little more self-motivated because they want to finish the course. So it's not so much a case of I have to push them to do their work. I may have to push them to do their best, but they will at least do some work. I don't have to deal with parents. That's great. So, yeah. Now, having said that, most of my teaching experience in Korea has been good. But the university teaching experience is the easiest. And before I came to Korea, I was a high school teacher. So my preference is for the older students. In the kindergartens, you need to have a lot of energy. You need to be happy to be the person that jumps up and sings the songs and does the actions, and it's just not me. I only lasted 6 months in a kindergarten. I hated it. The little kids themselves are really cute, but I did not enjoy it. Then I got to the elementary school and shocked myself because I really loved the grade ones. But I think it was because it was a more structured school environment and they were so eager to please In the kindergarten, there wasn't any structure. It was just all very free and easy. And to be honest, I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. When I got the job, I was told that there would be a Korean teacher, kindergarten trained teacher there who would do all the planning, and I would just do what she told me. Between me signing the contract and me arriving at the job, that teacher left and was not replaced. And it was just me. And honestly, I've never had contact with little kids like that before in my life. I had a clue what I was supposed to be doing. So we did a lot of colouring in of words that start with A and words that start with B and words that start with C, and me making up games and doing sign language. And I hope they did something, but I don't know. I don't think I did a very good job. I don't think the parents got their money's worth, to be absolutely honest. So that was that. The elementary school I enjoyed, but it is a heavier loading. I was teaching 22 to 24 teaching hours a day, and there's a lot more marking. You have to write reports, so you've got to write comments about all the students, etc., etc., etc. And the hook ones are interesting. With a hook one, you need to be very sure of your own ability to manage the students, because you cannot rely on anybody to back you up if you have a problem student. A hook one is a business, and the business owners are not wanting to lose students. So they're not going to take a naughty student out just because they're a problem in your classroom. Personally, I think that's short-sighted. I think they would do a lot better to kick out the naughty student to keep the good students happy.
Yeah.
But the hook one owners, they don't see it the same. I would rather kick out one bad student and keep 4 good students, but
That's true.
The hook ones, however, it depends where you work, but often you get a lot of freedom to do teaching the way you would like. There's a lot of the hook ones, there's not a lot of oversight in how you do your teaching. So that's pretty cool. And as a trained teacher, I found that pretty cool. I got to do a lot of experiments and just be like, let's see if this works with different teaching methodologies. So as a trained teacher, that was something that really appealed to me. But also as a trained teacher, I already have a lot of experience with student management and discipline and how to get students to do what I want them to do, even if they think they don't want to. In the high school, I very much enjoyed the high school. However, I learned 2 things very, very quickly. One, these are students at high school, they are very serious about their grades. So you record everything. I would publish the rubric of how I was going to be grading them before they got the assessment. If they were doing speeches, I videoed them doing the speech. Then I gave them a copy of the rubric afterwards. If they were doing conversations with me, speaking tests, I audio or video recorded the conversation. I would have students come up to me afterwards, oh, teacher, I think the grade you gave me is too low. And what I would do is be like, okay, I tell you what, we'll sit down, we'll watch the video together, we'll get new rubrics, the same rubric, but we'll get clean, fresh ones with nothing written on, and we'll go through, we'll grade it together. And whatever grade you get at the end of the video, that's the grade that goes on your report. So if it's higher, I will give you the higher grade. But if it's lower, I will give you the lower grade. And they were like, okay, teacher. Because they're very overly confident in their ability. Okay. What I didn't tell them was that when I'm grading them, I only count the first 3 times they make a particular mistake. So for example, and basically they started off with a score of 100, and every time they make a mistake, they lose a quarter of a point. And because there's so many different kinds of mistakes they can make, and I had a whole page rubric. So if they skip an article or they use a wrong article, I mark it. But if they've done that same mistake 3 times, I stop counting, because that's a systematic error. And it's unfair to continue to dock them for that. It gives it warps their score, basically. But I don't tell the students that I do that. So when we watch it the second time, I don't stop counting. I just keep marking. They keep making the same mistake. I just keep marking it down, making the same mistake. The first student comes in, he gets halfway through the video, he's like, "Oh, it's okay, teacher. I'll just go with the grade you gave." Gets up and he walks away. Second student came in. She lasted about 5 minutes. "It's okay, teacher. I'll just go with the grade you gave me." Third student didn't even turn up. Nobody else ever asked me again. But that's, having very strict and very transparent records and recording everything. Because these are students that would argue over a quarter of a mark for a quiz where 5 of them together make 2% of their entire year grade. They're talking 0.00001 of a grade, and they will argue over that. So, yeah, the high schoolers, they're very motivated. They're a lot of joy to teach, but you need to be very accurate with your records and have a few little sneaky tricks up your sleeve to keep you going. Yeah. Now, the second thing with the high schoolers, and the reason why I didn't continue with them, was because I felt like I was contributing to breaking their health. I was a boarding high school. The students would come to breakfast at 7:30. They were in their classroom by 8:15. They stayed in their classrooms until about 4, and they come out for lunch, but then they didn't rotate around to different classrooms. The teachers came to their homeroom. So I had an office, and when it's class time, I'd pick up my books and I'd go to the homeroom of whichever class I was teaching. And I know coming in at lunchtime, and this is something that really, really shocked me, because Korean dental hygiene is much more strongly motivated than in New Zealand. I would come into the hallway, 5 minutes before class time starting, to get the computer set up and everything, and the students would be walking down the hallway scrubbing their teeth as they walk, so that when they get to the bathroom, all they have to do is spit, rinse, and go back to the classroom and keep studying. I'd get into the classroom, and 75% of the students would be doing assignments or sleeping. There'd be very little playing around and being silly, whereas in New Zealand, at break times, study goes away. The kids go out, they laugh, they play jokes, they run, they do whatever. Sometimes I'd walk into the classroom, and the students, they were just so glazed over. Like, the lights are off, they're so tired. And I'd just look at them, I'd be like, there is no way that you can learn at the state you are right now. And I would actually have to force them, close your computers, put your heads down on the desk, close your eyes. I'd turn the lights in the classroom up. I'd be like, 10 minutes, I don't want to hear a word. I don't want to see an eye open. I only did this 2 or 3 times. And at first, the first time I had to force them to do it, but they were just so tired. And I could have lectured them for an hour and nothing would have gone in. After the 10 minutes, lights on, right, let's work, and you could see that the power nap had made a big difference for them. I didn't make it a habit because I know that people would have complained, but these kids, they would, after dinner, they had different activities, and then from 7 until 11 was their study time. They were not allowed to turn their lights off before 11, and most of them did not turn their lights off till 1. And during exam week, they were keeping their lights on until 3. But they're up and at breakfast at 7. I'd come into the classroom, and there would be 3 and 4 and 5 cans of coffee on their desks. And this is first and second year high school students. So in international age, we're talking 15, 16-year-olds. You'd see them they'd go home on the weekends to stay with their parents, and you could know they'd get some sleep. They'd come in on Monday, they look alive, and the girls, their hair's done nice, and there's makeup, and they're a bit chatty, and I mean, there's still assignments, homework. But as the week progresses, you get to Friday, there's no makeup, their hair doesn't even look like it's been brushed, their eyes are glazed. Honestly, I felt like I was helping to break them. to break their health. And as much as I actually very much enjoyed teaching them, I didn't want to contribute to that lifestyle. That's the main reason why I didn't continue teaching in the high school. Um, hmm. So then the community teaching, I love the community teaching. Again, it's more relaxed. The students you get in those classes tend to be older. They're focused on communicating. They're not worried about sitting a TOEIC test most of the time. So they're not interested in being absolutely word perfect. They want to talk with a foreigner. They want to communicate ideas. They are the ones that will take you out for meals and show you around and help you be a tourist. And if you've got a problem, those are the classes. How do I deal with such and such during a break time? And you'll have all of them gathered around telling you what to do and who to call, and possibly even someone offering to go with you to sort it out the next day. If you form a good relationship with your students, I've had students invite me home. Some of my best friends here in Korea go back to a religion class that I taught 8 years ago. It was my second adult Hagwon year. They were my religion class, and I was still meeting up with them every 2 weeks in Seoul when I left. And once I get out of quarantine, I'll be meeting up with them again. When the Hagwon that they were going to close, they decided they wanted to keep meeting. And at the time, I wasn't working on Friday, so I was like, hey, I'll come and join you. And at that time, my pay was very, very low. So they paid for my lunch every Friday. It was the best deal I had all week, to be honest. The rest of the week, I was living on kimbap. And then I lost that job with its very, very low pay. And I had about 2 months where it turns out I was illegally here in Korea. I didn't know it at the time. But anyway, I didn't get caught, so it worked out. And then I got the high school job. But during those 2 weeks, I was basically 2 months. I was supporting myself with some private tutoring. And again, the days that I was meeting them twice a week, those 2 months, those days were the days I ate the best of the week. But then I got the job at the high school. And without telling me, this group of people, there's about 8 or 9 of them. Some of them, it fluctuates on what's going on in their lives and how often, but I see all of them fairly regularly. They put together a pile of money that paid for a truck to come and get all my belongings and drive them down to Anyang, where I was going to be teaching for the school. They came and helped me pack and unpack at the other end, and then they gave me an envelope full of money so that I could survive the first month until I was paid.
Wow.
And then when I moved back to Seoul, they didn't give me money because I'd been working and everything, but they still came and they helped me move back to Seoul.
Wow.
No, these are real friends. These are the friends who invite you back to your house and teach you how to cook Korean food. These are the friends that
Wow.
if I get caught in the middle of the night and I've got a huge problem, I can call these friends and I know that they will come and rescue me. But it didn't happen fast. It's happened over a period of years where when I go out with them, I don't expect them to pay. They only paid for me those few months when I was on really, really low wages. Apart from that, I've always paid my way. I take my turn in paying for the whole group. They argue with me, but I insist on it. Probably I don't pay quite my share, to be honest, because they win the arguments a little more often than I like. But I insist, and so they see me as a friend rather than a freeloading teacher. And I think that makes a big difference. And just giving time and spending time with people and getting to know. The way to make friends is time and communication. It's the same in every culture. But if you're always coming in as a teacher, and I am the wonderful person that's going to teach you everything, and you can bow down in awe of my English, they won't be your friends. Yeah. So I've been very, very blessed in my career to meet such a lot of wonderful people. to have such a wide range of experiences.
Wow. So you went through a lot. There were times when you're not paid much. There were times you had to tutor. There were times when your friends were paying for your moving and food
Yeah.
and different things. And the university jobs are more comfortable. And high school jobs, the international school thing was something that was pretty
Intense. The word
intense.
you want is intense.
Intense, and I mean that's what I sensed when I was also working for middle school and high school. I was also a dean, so I was working 24/7. Even when I was sleeping, I had to be working because they might be eating ramen and I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to make sure that they go back to sleep. All that kind of craziness. So that lifestyle, if the lifestyle is not contributing to my health and their health, is such a dilemma to continue to teach in that setting. So I totally understand what you're talking about, because most students are walking around like zombies and I don't want to be part of the system. So I totally understand. So the community teaching, what is that? Is that a city hall like sponsor job? What is that? What is community teaching?
That was through a hub one. I call it community teaching just because it's the easiest way to make it understandable for Westerners.
Okay.
I have never done a City Hall sponsored job. These were evening classes that were run by a hog one, and I've done them with 2 or 3 different hog ones over the time, where the classes start at 7, the students come in from 7 till 9. You have a 2-hour class slot. So the first one that I was in, they were 1-hour classes. The students came in at 7 till 8, 8 till 9, 9 till 10. And then with that one, I was also doing 6 till 7 in the morning. That was hard. Basically, roll out of bed and into class. 6 till 7, 7 till 8, have a break, and then 9 till 10, 10 till 11, 11 till 12, and then the evening classes. It was an AC schedule. That was pretty tough. Yeah.
Sounds like SEA Language Institute where I met you.
That's exactly right. So when I met you at what? You came at like 11? I'd been teaching since 6.
You said what?
You would come in at what, 10 or 11?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
I had been teaching since 6 a.m.
Oh my goodness. That's so horrible.
Yeah. So, but I enjoyed teaching the adults because the adults are there because they want to be. They're paying their own money.
That's true.
As opposed to the children that are there because their parents force them to be there. They don't want to be there.
Yeah, actually, one of my best memories were made there because I got to talk to people on whole different kinds of topics, and you don't get that opportunity every single day, five days a week. It was a highlight of my life because I was talking about my hobby, my family, my nightmares, my problems, my dreams, and with strangers every single day. So it was really therapeutic, actually, in that sense.
What I really liked about it was seeing all the different age groups mix up that you don't normally see in Korea. So it was like when people came into the classroom, they put aside to an extent that I'm older and you're younger, and they all became to an extent equal. We're all students.
Yeah.
And so you could have a 25-year-old university girl talking to a 60-year-old man, and to an extent that, I mean, it's not perfect, but to an extent they were interacting as equals in a way that would never ever happen outside the classroom.
Exactly, that's very true.
And I really enjoyed seeing that and facilitating that.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah.
So you're those people that would help you in the middle of the night are the ones that you met there.
Yeah. Oh no, I met them at the next, after they moved me from Jungay, I went to Songbuk.
Okay.
Which the Songbuk branch was just up the road from Songshan Yore.
Okay.
So I met them at that hot one.
Okay, so both of them are SEA Language Institute, right?
Yeah, and I was the coordinator at the second one, which is a job I don't want to do again. I don't like managing people myself. I mean, I can do it, and I'm fairly systematic, so I can, I've just, but and it runs very smoothly. In fact, when I got there, so I've been in Korea 8 months at this stage. They moved me to the Songbook Institute. I'm there 3 weeks and they moved the director away. We didn't have a director for the rest of the term. So for the rest of the term, I was the top person for how the institute ran. And this is my first experience of being a coordinator, and I've only been in Korea for 8 months. And then my last, I was there for 8 months, so it's 4 terms altogether. My last term there, 3 weeks into the term, they moved the director away, the new director. So my beginning of my second term, they move in a director. He's there all of term 2 and term 3. 3 weeks into term 4, they move him away. And again, I finished out the term without a director. So I know how to be coordinator. I know I can run the institute. We had no problems. It ran smoothly. Everything, because we had procedures and policies, and I had it set up so that it rolled over, no problems. But I don't really like doing it. Oh, I don't enjoy managing people. I like being a classroom teacher, put my head down, do my own thing. So it's not a position that I seek out. It's a position I only take if I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people are born leaders and they love managing people, they love motivating people, they love holding people accountable, but it's very stressful. I can tell you that.
Yeah, maybe the people that love it are the people that shouldn't do it. Just by the way. Because they tend to get a bit power crazy.
That's true. Some people are very power mongering and they're very manipulative, so it can be dangerous, even though it can be very rewarding. Wow. So for you, this is the last question. So for you, when do students learn the best, and for you, when do the teachers excel the best in doing the job the teachers are supposed to do?
Those are separate and together answers. Students learn the best when the teacher is excelling, and the teacher teaches the best when the students are engaged. Okay, so there's what's the word I want? Like a feedback loop between the teacher and the student. If you walk into a classroom, there have been classrooms I walk into and I make a connection with those students. A couple of years ago, I had a class that was almost entirely girls. They were level 1 English, so very low English. They were speech therapists here at the university. And they wanted to learn, even though they were low level. And somehow we just connected, maybe because I'm female and the class was almost entirely female. And the backwards and forwards, I would come into class and they were enthused already before I got there. Then I would present my lessons with a heightened level of enthusiasm above my normal because I knew that they were so receptive. Now, that does not always happen. So you still, as a teacher, you still do your best. That feedback loop thing, that's, I'm not going to say a rarity because I've had it happen fairly frequently in my career, but it's not the norm. I believe it comes when the teacher emphasizes first is relationship before content, where the teacher takes the time first to get to know the students and to connect with the students on a human level. With that particular class, I think it happened more easily because we're all female, and I'm not sure why, but Koreans find me cute. When I'm all done up properly and I've got my makeup and my proper clothes and I come in and I kind of do the whole EU thing without even trying. In a Korean environment, not so much in an English-speaking environment, and so Koreans tend to like me, which helps that connection happen more easily. Simply because of my manner. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think just the fact that you're very courteous and very polite and really draw people.
And
yeah.
I do kind of do the ego just a little bit, or sometimes on purpose. But so the students, I've often found that my teachers expecting that students want to please me just for those kind of reasons, and that helps.
Yeah.
If you come in all frowning, the students will be standoffish. So you need to be open, you need to be vulnerable, you need to create experiences in the classroom that build relationships between you and the student and between the students and each other. The more you do that, the more motivated the students will come to class, and the content teaching will ride on the back of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one more question. I noticed when I was teaching in middle school and high school, I noticed that foreign teachers had a hard time being able to articulate what they're actually feeling, and school did a lot of things in the last minute, and the teachers get frustrated and they get angry, and the executive people at the top, they just demanding things from teachers, they hear things from parents, and they communicate those things to teachers, and teachers get upset, and there is this communication hurdle that they seem to have a hard time um, figuring out. So how did you deal with that, especially when you were teaching in the elementary school? I think that must have been the worst over there.
Not really.
Not really?
Remember, I came into Korea already as a teacher. So there's two things happening there. Firstly, my observation, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but my observation is that Koreans are not good at forward planning, and they tend to do a lot of, oh, I've got a great idea. Let's put it in place right now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's through. Yeah. It's an emergency. It must be done now. And if they know that something's going to happen in 6 months' time, they don't actually think about it or think how it could go easily or what they could do to smooth the path in 6 months' time. They just leave it until it is an emergency.
Exactly, yeah.
That is something that as Westerners we find very frustrating.
Yeah.
Because if we know that there's something that's going, like for example, I'm in quarantine, I've got to teach on Monday. I don't have my textbooks until Friday afternoon. Okay. I did not have access to my syllabus or even know what classes I was going to be teaching.
Yeah.
Now, if things had been more forward thinking, they could have put my textbooks, they could have put my syllabuses, they could have put everything that I need to prep my classes in my room before I got here, so that I could use my quarantine time to prep for my teaching.
Yeah.
But instead, the only internet I have is on my phone. I've now got access to those syllabuses and things, but I'm trying to do everything on my little phone screen to prepare for my Monday morning classes and my classes next week.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is that. And schools are more like that than other places, I think.
Yeah.
Even in New Zealand, I would come into school and they'd be like, oh, okay, the program for today has changed because of such and such and such and such.
Yeah.
So as a teacher teaching in New Zealand, I learned to just go with the flow. Okay, I prepped my lesson for today. Now I'm not going to teach it. But you know what? I will teach you that same lesson tomorrow, so whatever. You have to learn. If you're going to have a nice teaching life in Korea, you have to learn to go with the flow. To just be like, okay, there's a change that's been made. I can't change it. It affects me in this way. How am I going to deal with it? Very few times I've had to scrap a lesson that I've prepped entirely. Normally, I can just use that lesson 1 or 2 days down the track. And it's just, you just have to recognize this is the way it is, and nothing doesn't matter how much we yell and scream at administration. It's not going to change. Yelling and screaming at administration is just going to make your personal life more difficult because administration doesn't like you. And quite frankly, in a school, if you come into a school, the 2 people that you want on your side more than anybody else in the whole school is the secretary on the front desk, because she's this person who actually makes things happen most of the time. She's the one that connects everything. She's the one that knows everything. She's the one where if you have a photocopying emergency and you have nice talk to her and you drop her off a packet of biscuits or bring her a coffee from time to time, she'll jump out and photocopy those things and drop them off at your classroom. You
Yeah.
can't do it every day, but if it's an emergency, she's the one that will do that. So that's the first person you want to have on your side.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be yelling and screaming about things that she can't change either. They're not her decisions.
Yeah.
The second person is the cleaner.
Yeah.
Okay, the cleaner. You want the cleaner on your side because they're the ones that know where everything is. If you're looking for something for your classroom for a particular lesson, they're the ones that are going to be able to tell you where it is. If you have a accident in your class, kid pees on the floor or vomits or whatever, do you want to be having the cleaner coming helping you to clean it up, or do you want to be left there to do it on your own because the cleaner doesn't like you? Right? You want the cleaner coming in to clean it straight away, but because they like you, or do you want the cleaner leaving it until the end of the day after you've gone home and you have to sit there with the smell of it all day? Those are the two people in the school, more than the principal, more than anybody else, who make your life easy. No, you be kind to those people. You make friends. You make a human connection, and make sure it's a real human connection, not just a "I'm doing this so that you do good things for me later."
Wow. They're very practical because I also noticed that they make a lot of things happen and they're usually underestimated, but actually you make friends with them. It's a lot better whatever you do in school. So you made a very good point. I don't think I've ever heard that from any teacher, but you're right.
When I was teaching in New Zealand, I made a point to have a 5-minute chat with the cleaner every afternoon when she came in after the kids left. Now, she wants that human connection. She wants to feel like part of the school, even though she's not there when the kids are there.
That's very true. That's very true.
That is her job. She's working at the school. She wants to feel like she's part of it.
That's true.
I would make sure that I'd bring her something on her birthday. I'd make sure I knew about her daughters. I knew about her grandchildren. I knew about, and she knew about my family. These were real connections.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And we still chat on Facebook occasionally.
Wow, that's awesome.
The receptionist, same thing. Those two people, they are the hub of the school.
That's very true.
Yeah, but like you, they also don't have a say in how things work, but they can smooth your way.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Kat. I think I learned a lot from you as a teacher. And
I got 25 odd years of experience as a teacher these days, so hey.
Because not many teachers would say stuff like this. Many teachers would just talk about, this is an easier way to make more money and you're gonna get more free time and you can do more things. But it was very insightful in the sense that you were talking about human relationship, authentic dynamic of like human like connection and all these things were so beautiful.
You make the connection and people want to please you.
That's true. That's true.
And that whether they are your students, whether they are your co-workers, whether they are your support staff or your bosses.
That's very, very true.
You don't complain. You don't get involved with the politics. Just put your head down and do your job to the best of your ability within the limitations that you have.
Wow.
And you'll have an easier life than almost anybody else in the school.
Wow.
You'll have less stress, more peace of mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Kat. It's really giving me a lot of energy before I start teaching today. Thank you. I'll pass this on to my friends and students and everybody that I know. And I'm pretty sure they will be blessed through watching this interview.
Unless, of course, they're a boss and I'm telling them the cleaner and the secretary is more important than them.
Yeah, I think more people should pay attention to them. I think
I think so.
You're very right.
Yeah.
That's great. I would like to see you in person sometime in the future. Since you're back, so.
Still going to Summit University Church?
Yeah.
I'll be up there at some point this year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just let me know so we can meet up.
I will.
For lunch or something.
Yeah, or maybe a Saturday night dinner or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Kat.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Enjoy your students.
Yeah, enjoy your quarantine.
Yeah. 2 more days. If I don't count today and I don't count Saturday, then it's
Almost done. Bye,
So I
Kat.
get out at 12 o'clock on Saturday. That's
Oh,
what I
okay.
do.
Oh, that's the end.
Yeah,
Wow.
and today's half over, so I don't count today.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
See you.
Have a good
Bye.
day. Bye bye.